So today I am joined in the studios by Nick Shane. Nick, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks very much.
Now, you've been involved in Dundee music for a while, and if people haven't heard of you as a solo artist, they may have heard of you before from another band. Do you want to tell us a wee bit about that?
I was in a band called the NSA for a few years. We started in 2013. Did quite well, did a few really cool gigs in the area and other places. Played the Fringe twice. Played cool gigs in Dunfermline, PJ Malloy's, supported quite cool bands. Supported the Moons in Dundee, that's Paul Weller's band.
Quite a CV you've racked up.
Yeah, I've done alright for myself, I think.
So, I mean, how long were the NSA going for?
Been going since 2013. I've kind of taken a break a little bit till release Feverland, our second album. So just taking a break while I'm doing my own thing, they do their thing. Been doing my solo album for the past couple of months, been working on that. A few tracks that I've written over the past sort of 10 years. Before the NSA kind of came about, I was writing sort of lighter songs, more ambient kind of music, while the NSA was more kind of mod band, grungier, sort of Black Rebel Motorcycle Club meets The Jam, meets Oasis, while being kicked to death by Paul Weller. Basically the size of it.
It's a very apt description. You've obviously rehearsed that, So, I mean, you're here doing your own stuff then. So NSA is taking a wee break at the moment, and you're focusing on your next, it's your second album that's coming out. You're on a second solo album.
It's my second solo album. I had an album out in 2013 that's on iTunes. That was just a bunch of songs that I'd written before the NSA sort of started. That I recorded at Seagate Studios. That was my first studio album, so it was, if I could, I would probably go back and record it again, because I kind of rushed it a little bit. A lot of it was to do with finances, and that was before the days where I was started doing my own thing, recording myself. So
the process for you then is you just do everything by yourself. You record yourself, you produce yourself, you play all the instruments. Pretty much. I do that all at Good Time Studio, which is run by my friend Robbie Islam from No Egos. It's a good little place actually, because on one floor I'm recording my album, the Model Aeroplane's recording their album, and Ginger Jesus Promotions is on another part of the floor, and Magic Box Studios is downstairs as well, so it's actually a really busy building. Dundee Music Hub,
It is, that's how I see it.
So you're saying that the stuff that you're doing is a little bit different from what the NSA used to do. You've got two personalities. You've got Nick Shane in the NSA, who's getting kicked to death by Paul Weller, and then you've got Nick Shane, solo artist, who's doing more ambient stuff. More
acoustic-y ambient stuff. There is obviously electric guitars.
So tell us a little bit more about the solo sound then, because if you're recording stuff with the NSA, which sounds very different and a bit heavier than, the solo stuff that you're playing, what are the kind of influences? Where are the convergences then?
It's hard to say. I don't try and copy people. If there was going to be an influence, it might be sort of Richard Ashcroft, that kind of influence. Topics that I sing about are different from the NSA. The NSA was more from more social issues regarding drug use in Dundee, possibly, where billions of pounds would be going to one part of the country when other parts of the city are crumbling, i.e. drug users being swept under the carpet, people sleeping in the streets, families going to food banks. I'm not ashamed to say that I had to go to a food bank, carry big bags of messages across the city to take home, but we got through it. That's the main thing, we got through it. We were together, we had each other, but a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are completely forgotten about. A lot of people are invisible, and you see it every day.
So clearly your experiences, being in that situation, and the empathy you have for other people in that situation kind of inform the sort of music that you write and the sort of music that you make. So if we move from the NSA to your solo work then, I mean, would you say that the stuff that you're writing is also based on deeply personal things that, you've experienced in your life? Yeah,
the album that I've got coming out is more personal to me. Well, it's called NS, so it's basically just songs that I'd written over the past maybe sort of 10, 12 years, include more kind of sort of sensitive issues like depression, which I suffered from, still suffer from. I'm alright right now, but I still do suffer from depression. Songs about my girlfriend and my daughter, who are completely responsible for me being here. A lot of inspiration comes from songs to do with the actual struggle of being a musician, because it's a really difficult game. I do what I love every day of the week, and I'm happy with that. But there's a lot of people who don't get a lot of the opportunities I get, and I think it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to have somebody that's so candid about these issues, and somebody that's so open in their music about like things that a lot of people find difficult to talk about. On that subject, you released a song last month. That I think we're going to hear now, and we'll talk a little bit more about it after the song, but if you just want to introduce it.
This is Standing Up for Colour.
So Nick, we just played Standing Up for Colour. Tell us a little bit behind the history of that song, because it's obviously something that was written, in response to a feeling that you experienced.
Yeah, after what happened in Orlando, it kind of brought something forward for me. It kind of made me realise that LGBT is kind of like a forgotten movement in the world. LGBT, gay pride, it's always seemed more like a fun slant on the world and more of a gay day out for a lot of people. To me as well, because there's nothing I love more than a gay day out. But people see it as a kind of laugh and a joke, and it is fun. It's a great thing to do, but there is a lot of seriousness behind that as well. There's people really want to be taken seriously.
The interesting thing about Orlando is a lot of people in the LGBT community have reservations about the way it was reported in the media. I mean, how did you feel about that? Did you feel as if there was any kind of erasure going on there?
Yeah, the media kind of used it to belittle the people they wanted to belittle, i.e. ISIS. The guy that shot those people, I don't think he ever left America. I don't think he ever had anything to do with ISIS. Other sources then claimed that the guy was a homophobic homosexual who had a boyfriend, and then they said he had a wife and a kid who he, was horrible to. The gay rights weren't really the only thing that were affected in that. Yeah, I think LGBT still got a long way to go in terms of us being accepted by everybody, but at the end of the day, nobody's going to be accepted by everybody.
It's probably worth pointing out at this point that you're openly bisexual.
Yeah.
So obviously the tragic events in Orlando had a particular resonance with you and your experiences. Do you want to tell us a wee bit more about them?
I came out at school through my own choice, and I found that it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I got bullied every day because of it. I couldn't walk down the corridor. I actually had to walk outside the school to go to a different class, because when the corridor was filled with people, I knew that something was going to happen. This led to sort of depression, anxiety from the age of sort of 15. That's when it all started. That's when I came out, as it were. It continued to my adult life because I never really dealt with what I was going through properly. I never sat and thought about it. And you're not supposed to kind of sit and think about your own life, but when it comes to stuff like that, because of the world we live in, it's very difficult for people like me, people like my friends. I got bullied at school a lot. At home was hell. The only one who didn't really bother was my dad. My mum, she did mind a lot. My stepdad was utterly horrendous towards me. From that point, I kind of abused alcohol because I always felt there was something missing from my life. And it was the love of probably my mum more than anything else. I mean, I'm not saying that because I want sympathy or because I want to give people answers to standing up to homophobia. There is no answer to standing up to homophobia. I just want people to know that you'll rise above hate. You'll look back on these days and you'll smile, because I smile when I think about the hell I went through at high school and the hell I went through at home, because there is a reason to keep fighting. You can really make a difference by being who you want to be and being brave. You're not alone, basically. You're not alone. There's lots of people out there who are willing to help. Great people involved in the LGBT charities all over the country. I've met a few of them, and they're brilliant. They're absolutely fantastic. I had a little bit of help in school. This guy I knew called Derek Trainer. He was straight, obviously, but he was my friend for years before I came out, and after I came out, he stood by me when people didn't want to. He knew that if he walked down the corridor with me, he was going to get it as well, and he took it.
Going back to what you've just said in terms of people feeling alone, would you like to think that the album and the songs that you're writing bring a light on these issues and help these people that are going through this tough stuff feel less alone? Yeah,
there are issues in there that are quite important. Not just my life, but people I've come in contact with over the years. For example, the one I'm going to play in a bit is called Resurrected. It's about a girl I met in Dunfermline when I was busking a few years ago. We became sort of pals, She told me that she was a victim of abuse for 3 years, beginning when she was 15. It's about how she struggled really hard to be a truly beautiful person, probably the bravest person I know. She fell in love, she began a new life someplace else. The song was for her, but it tells kind of victims of these horrible, horrible crimes that they're not alone. Again, they're not alone, and the fact that she can get up in the morning and face the world is wonderful, and you know, keep trying, keep living, stay alive, you know.
Just to wrap up then, Nick, thank you very much for coming in, and of course thank you very much for being so open about these issues. I mean, it's very rare that a musician is comfortable talking about this stuff on the radio, but I think you've
this is on the radio.
But yeah, I mean, I think you have enlightened a lot of people, and I think that anybody that's listening to this that has been through what you've been through will feel less alone. If we just want to finish off by promoting the upcoming album, you have a tour on the way as well, is that true?
I've got a bit of a tour. In my opinion, I think if it's any more than 2 dates in 2 different places, it's a tour.
I would say that's fair, yeah.
3rd August, I'm in Buskers. The 6th of August, I'm in Beat Generator with my pals band, No Egos. I'm playing the guitar for them just now. Fantastic band, fantastic songs. Friday the 19th, I'm through in Fat Sam's for the Macmillan. There's more dates coming up all the time. So if you go on my Facebook page, it's all on my Facebook page.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you very much for coming in. Just before you go, could you play us just a very quick acoustic song in the studios?
I certainly will. This is called Resurrected, and this is from the album NS, out probably end of the summer.
An evil man can shatter a mirror of dreams. Lived 100 years cause of what we see. Screaming inside alone with nothing to do. Fear 100 fears that torture you. Life is full of wonder when all I want, she's resurrected. She don't need protected. Your body can't breathe, but your spirit won't let you die. You'll always be the victor in my eyes. Nothing can take away your feelings alone, but the company you keep in your heart you own. Life is full of wonder when all I want, she's got a feeling, her spirit's healing. Shatter a mirror of dreams. You've lived 100 years cause of what you see. Your body can't breathe but your spirit won't let you die. You'll always be the survivor in my eyes. She's resurrected. She don't need protected.